Greetings, friends. It's me, Wayman29, and TJ Guitar was kind enough to refer me to a response he did, and also other videos I found in that process to VERITAS48. Terrible with usernames, so I spell it out. His video was why homosexuals should not have marriage rights, and it goes through a whole bunch of things that he used in his debate forum at his college, and he lists a conservative source printed in a conservative newspaper on why it's not such a good idea, and he believes that it's the family being defined as man and wife is the cornerstone of culture, which is the cornerstone of a civilization. And when that breaks apart, all heck breaks loose. Now, I consider myself, as I said before, Christian and theist. So, I'm going to disagree with this user because I believe that he's wrong. And I'll tell you why he's wrong. His presuppositions about marriage have been influenced by evangelical worldview. And I wrote down a whole bunch of stuff that he was talking about because my brain is rather small and I can't remember my phone number sometimes. So he talks about how the marriage has an objective, and you don't define marriage, we describe it. That's wrong because opponents of gay marriage define marriage as between a man and a wife, and that's influenced by the evangelical right. So the worldview, biblical worldview from the evangelical right influences one's outlook on economics, social policies, even culture itself. So Orthodox basically defines marriage. And when you go back, I know that this gentleman was talking about our country, but when you go back to other civilizations, you will find that that's not always the case, and there are plenty of examples in literature with the Greeks and the Romans who had civilizations, and still there were homosexuality. He says that allowing homosexuals to marry would make the traditional idea of marriage useless and break down the family element. This is also from a biblical evangelical worldview because they define what a traditional marriage is to themselves. So, his whole argument could be wiped out by asking the question, what if one were not a Christian, and what if one did not have an evangelical world view? And the answer would be that we live in the United States, and there are laws in the Constitution that protect us from even the people who believe that they are right. And so it goes to majority rules. And when you vote, you can change laws, and you can vote to define laws, and you can vote to make terminology more defined, and you can change things. And it just so happens that in our country right now, the majority happens to be influenced by the evangelical worldview. So that would definitely have an outlook on how things are. And I suspect that as things change, we'll see it sway a different way. Now, you mentioned polygamy and other things. If the whole of the United States ended up being FLDS, Fundamentalist Latter-day Saints, then I'm sure that we would be changing laws to accommodate those views in our society. And I don't see how two guys getting married causes the breakdown of the family element and all that you say. What you're doing is you're painting a fatalist picture, and you use your biblical evangelical worldview to scare a lot of people into believing something that is not true and is unfounded. And I would encourage you to at least name one civilization that fell due to homosexuality and two guys getting married. And I know the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, which you would probably readily pull out of the biblical text. However, I don't see that as one of the examples that could be used. So, that's just my thoughts on the issue. I guess what we really need to define as Christians, we need to remember that not everybody agrees with us. We need to take care of the people that disagree with us and don't hold our evangelical world view. And remember that the people who live next door, whether they be homosexuals or not, are our neighbors. And whether we agree with them or not, we should still take care of them and love them as the biblical texts tell us to. And what's really interesting is if one were to believe that homosexuality for some reason is sinful, why is it our job to pull up the tares with the wheat when we were told to leave well enough alone, because it rains on both the just and the unjust? And when we redefine who our neighbor is, are our neighbors just those who hold our particular view, or can we reach beyond that and reach out to people and call people our neighbors who may disagree with us? So, just some thoughts. Take care, YouTubers. Take care of yourself and each other.